Cool. All right, guys, welcome to Chilling with c.bo. It's me, c.bo. How you doing? We're recording this on a Friday, July 10th. It's July 10th, right, guys?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. And I'm here with my usual co-host, Juan Pablo Green Camargo, aka the one and only. How you doing?
Not bad. Just eating some fruit.
Nice. And I'm joined by another special guest who was here last week, Pedro. What was that? Pedro Guarin Camargo. How you doing, man?
What up, world?
Yes. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Gonna go out shopping later in this rain.
How's it feel to be on here twice in a row?
I feel really honored.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. We're glad to have you here, man. So what have you guys been up to this past week since the last time we recorded?
Well, I've been just progressing through my studies, watching Wreck-It Ralph with my brother, which is something we're going to talk about today. Right. I've just been on that Pogo app, playing, catching Pokemon, hoping for a shiny.
All right, Pokemon Go. You're still on? What generation are they on now?
About 6, I think. Actually, no, they're starting to do 6.
They're starting to do 6. What are some iconic Pokemons in that generation? I feel like,
Zekrom, which is that black dragon.
Okay.
Reshiram, which is the white one.
What generation are they on now? Is it 8?
Oh yeah, and there's currently generation 8, which is the England Pokemon.
Yeah, the Galar region. Yes, I remember. Yes.
Can't wait to get that Ponyta.
That it's so crazy how there's so many Pokemon now compared to like when it originally came out. It's insane. Remember it was just 150?
Yeah, the original was 151 actually because of YouTube.
Yeah. Oof. A lot of Pokemon. How about you, Juan? What you been up to, man?
Well, started my internship with Inside the Hashes as a video interviewer.
Okay.
And I'm scheduling an interview with an NFL player next week named Jalen Hawkins. He's a 4th-round pick for the Atlanta Falcons. I interviewed him last year. I reached out to see if he wanted to interview again. He said, yeah.
That's awesome. Nice.
Thanks.
With me, The Last of Us 2 kind of took over my life when I wasn't working, and I finished it, and I'll have some thoughts on that later on in the pod. I'll go into spoiler thoughts because I went over my non-spoiler thoughts a couple weeks back. So full spoilers ahead from whenever we talk about Last of Us 2, you crazy listeners.
My friend has been talking about that game, and I'll tell you later, he is just...
Okay. Well, first, we're going to start with something a little light, a little delightful. It's about a Disney movie. Not the Disney movie we saw last week, but an actual thing that Disney's good at, which is animation. And me and Juan finally saw Ralph Breaks the Internet. For some reason, it took us long to watch it, but we finally saw it. And so let me ask you two, what do you guys think of Ralph Breaks the Internet?
It's very existential, to say the least. What I feel that the movie deals with the problems of millennial and insecurity about not being as good as we are compared to our predecessors. But that stuff, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It deals with the insecurity of not being good enough, not of all of our friends growing up and moving away and doing bigger and better things while you're stuck doing the same thing every day. And it deals with...
Sorry. Huh? No, sorry. I was about to say something, but you keep going, yeah.
And it also shows how anxiety is a real issue, not just something that you can just calm down from. And it takes a lot of work to get through it.
Whew. Yeah. What about you, Juan?
First off, usually with actors translating from being physically in the movie to voice work isn't always flawless. However, Gal Gadot's performance and very well done. I didn't expect her to get such a good performance as a voice actor. I was expecting like the typical kind of like not even trying sort of voice acting, but she did a really good job.
Yeah, she definitely brought over that Wonder Woman confidence into that role. I can tell you that. Yeah, it looked like her too. And I'm like, oh, it's her. Yeah.
And like,
And
personally, I don't think Gal Gadot is a that good of an actress outside of Wonder Woman.
that's fair. That's fair.
But she did a pretty good job. She showed actual acting chops, and I'll give her credit for that. Second is, from what I saw, I wish the internet looked like a city. I wish I can just walk into Amazon and take something off a shelf and put it in my cart. I wish that I could go into YouTube and kind of just walk around between screen to screen, like looking like a little tiny figure.
Yeah. The way they explained the internet and the way it functions, it kind of reminded me how they explain the functions of like emotions in Inside Out. That's what it kind of reminded me of, but like on a larger scale. And like, going off what Pedro said about this movie, about being, how existential this movie is, and how, it tells us to reflect on ourselves. Like the first half of the movie was very much like a fan service movie with like all the internet references and stuff like that. And then it just turns to something very serious in the second half, and you're like, oh man, like how do we get here, Disney? Like what is going on?
The part where they go like insecurity detected, I was like, oh, you're just hitting it on the nose, right? This whole movie Ralph's been nothing but insecure, and you're just like insecurity detected. I'm like, oh, like come on, man, you're just kind of like hitting the nail on the head right there. You couldn't get any more subtle.
Yeah, but yeah, I really like the movie. I especially like the part when they went into the Disneyland with all those Disney references. It's crazy, and obviously the part that was on everyone's mind after the movie came out was the princess scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane how they pulled that off, because like all the modern actresses that were alive who can voice the princesses came back and did their roles again, which is insane. That's amazing how they gathered all of them together to do that.
Pat and I were kind of like watching, we're watching that, and we're just like, if you look at each shirt of the princess, it is a direct reference to whatever their movie is.
Yeah.
Like for Moana, she had a shirt that said shiny on it. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and like, I love like how like each of them had like their own every single one of them had their personalities accurately reflected when they were in there. It was just so cool. Like it's like seeing all these princesses from literally the 1930s to like the most recent in like Moana, and technically Vanellope's a princess as well. So like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they were missing a few princesses in there too. Like,
I think they got all of them. Like,
what about Kira from Atlantis? She's a Disney princess, technically.
Yeah. Disney doesn't like to reference Atlantis for some reason.
That's because they didn't make that much money.
Yeah, I love that movie, by the way.
Me too. Yeah. Michael J. Fox is amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Now I'm kind of mad they didn't have Kira in that. Like, what the hell? Like, not like what the hell, Disney?
Well, outside of that, I also love that how kind of like Disney during the whole like Disney scene, they kind of self-promoted themselves and basically broke the fourth wall.
Yeah. It was pretty much Ralph was the gateway to like self-promote themselves. It's like, hey, look at all the great stuff we have. Star Wars, Marvel. Yeah. I loved how Baby Groot just showed up randomly. I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome.
One of the voice actors that was talking to Baby Groot, I forget his name, is Jason something. I don't know if you ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Nah, no, I know you're like, I know, yeah.
Well, anyway, like he was like playing like the ultimate guy who will part of a movie of a very specific detail that didn't make any sense whatsoever, and then try to get Groot to explain it. And the way that Groot answers just, I am Groot. And he looks satisfied and he walks away, and he just gives off like that sarcastic face and walks off right afterwards. It kind of just reminds me of like how all the fanboys in Star Wars or in all the fandom in general can be. Hell, it's how we often are whenever we have questions and we nitpick the movies that we love, like we're doing right now.
Actually, just to bring that up, he was talking that Groot's part of the Tree of Life in Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like how everything just kind of came together for that. Like,
Well, one more thing before we move on. It's like the part where where Gal Gadot and her crew were like surrounded Ralph and Vanellope, and you hear Gal Gadot goes, "Yes, because we're a family." I'm immediately thinking, okay, where's Vin Diesel? Because this is just Fast and the Furious. Like,
technically, Vin Diesel was in the movie actually.
who was he?
He was Groot.
Groot. Yeah.
No!
So yeah, so they referenced that. Yeah, you know what? Also, kind of reminded me of the slaughter race. It kind of reminded me of GTA as well because it was set in Los Angeles. It kind
Also,
of reminded me of Los Santos.
Oh, wow.
So like
You're right. Yeah.
so it's like they're going. There's a GTA reference, there's a Fast and Furious reference, and like yeah, it was. I wonder how much like money Disney had to pay to get the rights to all the images we saw in that movie, like all the Google, Amazon, like YouTube, like it's crazy. Twitter, I love how clever Twitter was with all the birds. That was so cool. Yeah.
What do you think of like when the Disney princesses kind of appropriated Batman and Robin's theme song? And
That was funny. It's funny, like it's funny how like the Disney princesses call out the way Disney has handled them in the past when Disney's making that movie. So it's pretty much like Disney making fun of themselves. Like it's like, yeah, we kind of like, yeah, our representation wasn't that good in the past. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know?
Pedro made a really good point about the movie, saying it had no proper villain. Pedro, can you like touch on that?
Yeah, like one thing, as you may have noticed in the movie, there is no real villain in that movie. No discernible bad guy outside.
Yeah.
Besides that virus maker, he's very minor. But there is no. It's good that there was like internal problems.
Yeah.
For the main characters, rather than just have one person as the focus point of all the problems.
If you notice in the past, like recent Disney movies within the last decade, there haven't been that many villains. And it's more about like our internal problems and how we deal with them.
Yeah.
Both Frozens don't really have villains, except for like, but it's more about the sisters and their relationship. Does Wreck-It Ralph 1 have a villain?
Yes, Turbo.
Yes, I remember that. Okay, but that was like a last minute thing, like if there's no villain in the movie, there's always like a last minute twist villain, which they seem to be doing a lot as well. Like,
I wonder why though.
I don't know.
It adds variety because you got tired of always expecting the bad guy and the good guy and the fight of good versus evil. Sometimes Disney wants to get a little introspective for the adults that are drudged into that movie theater while the kids just say, "Oh my God, it's Elsa," or "It's Vanellope," and the adults will be like, "Oh my God, I'm a self-destructive, anxiety-ridden son of a gun."
Yeah, it's crazy, and they just and they're just exploding with fun references the kids can enjoy. Mm-hmm. Like I love how Sonic was like a introspective person in this movie. Like I didn't expect that from Sonic. Like
I do and I don't. True and I don't. Wow, that is deep.
Yeah.
Like
so Sonic has been getting good coverage in movies recently. It's his movie and that, like, good for him.
Yeah. Is the Sonic movie even out yet?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
You saw it?
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, wow. Pretty funny.
Did you see it, Pedro?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
How did you guys see it?
It was in theaters before all this happened. It's one of the highest grossing movies in theaters in 2020 just because it was like one of the only big successes.
I cannot.
It's like Bad Boys for Life and Sonic are the two biggest movies of 2020 as of right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Overall, thoughts on Wreck-It Ralph though? Like final thoughts, like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
I give it like a 8.5 out of 10.
I agree.
How about you? Yeah.
It was good. It made me think. It really brought out my inner demons as I was watching a kids film, so that's great. But it was a really good, honest story that I think everyone can enjoy and laugh at.
Yes. Definitely.
Solid 8 out of 10 for sure. Very,
Would you want to see Ralph 3?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know how they can how they're gonna do that.
So, he breaks video games. He breaks the internet. What's next?
Break television.
Ooh.
Did
Did you watch the post-credit scene at the end?
Yeah.
we all got rickrolled.
We all got rickrolled, yeah. I bet like kids when they saw that in the theater, they're like, "Oh my god, a preview for Frozen 2." Then that happens, and now they'll understand our pain in the mid 2000s when we were on YouTube, when they were like, "Oh, this new trailer for this movie that's never gonna come out is here," and then we just see Rick Astley dancing to "Never Gonna Give You Up," which is a great song, by the way. Which is a song we didn't appreciate it much at that time, but now we do, and it's like we kind of miss it now, ironically. Because times were simpler, I feel like, when that was happening.
Meme culture in the early 2010s was some of the best content that existed, and it was simpler. It wasn't introspective. It wasn't meant to make you think or anything. It was just
Fun.
I love cheeseburger. That's basically what it was. It was simple. Or why you no knock?
Yeah, so we miss you, meme culture of the mid to early 2010s.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're talking about Disney animated movies, I just want to ask, what are some of your favorites, man, that growing up and to now? Like,
Can I go first?
yeah, go ahead.
My favorite, personally, I'd have to say is Hercules.
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 And like the reason I love it so much is mainly because of the gospel blues vibe that came with it, and it pushed my love and inspiration from music forward as a kid. Even to this day, I still listen to the soundtrack of the Muses playing like on Spotify whenever I go out for my 5-mile walks. Like I always go say amen as I'm walking up the hill.
I like Michael Bolton's "Go the Distance." That gets me like it inspires me, man.
Hercules is such an underrated Disney film.
It is a good movie, but it's not one of my favorites. But it is good though. It is good. I recognize why it's one of your favorites.
All right, Peter, what was yours?
Finding Nemo for sure.
Okay.
My all-time favorite.
Nice. So that's your favorite Pixar movie then.
Oh, okay. So isn't it a Disney movie too?
Yeah, you could. Well, Pixar's kind of its own thing, but they're still Disney though.
All right, let me change my answer.
But we could talk about Pixar though after this, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're talking about old Renaissance Disney movies, then
Or it could be recent ones.
Oh, let me think. Actually, yeah, Princess and the Frog.
Okay. I have not seen that movie in a long time, but I do want to rewatch it.
You're ready.
I love the New Orleans vibe of the movie. I love
absolutely.
I mean, I've actually been to New Orleans, and it felt like in the movie. It was lively. It was dark and scary, but at the same time, so lively and exciting. I loved it so much.
Were there like people turning you into frogs or?
No. But I did go to a haunted restaurant in there. So.
No, I know New Orleans has like there's some energy in New Orleans that can't be explained. That like when it comes to like the supernatural, I don't want to mess with that. I totally believe all of it. I don't want to mess with it.
We gotta take that to New Orleans sometime.
I would love to go to New Orleans, and I guess I gotta rewatch Princess and the Frog. But I'm basic. It's like my favorite Disney animated movie is probably The Lion King. It's just amazing. Like, animals in Africa singing songs and, doing Hamlet. What more can you ask for? Like,
what's the name of the guy who plays Scar?
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons. Fantastic actor.
Oh, absolutely. And Elton John's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Then, like, I love Aladdin and
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams is incredible as a genie. And then there's two movies I like that are kind of underrated, but they're not like Atlantis territory, and that's Mulan and Tarzan. I feel like they're not talked about enough, but I feel these are one of the best Disney movies out there, especially Mulan. Mulan is just awesome and epic.
What sucks is that people don't recognize Mulan as the original feminist Disney princess icon.
Yeah, like she's not forgotten about, but she's not talked about enough, I feel like.
You know, they're making that live action, or they made that live action movie.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out like in March, man.
Is it still not out yet?
That and Tenet keep changing dates. They're like the first two movies you'll see when they come back to theaters.
Oy.
Yeah, whenever theaters come back, which honestly I don't think it's coming back. I kind of given up on. I'm throwing the flag. Just open theaters in fall. Just give up on the summer.
Bobby was right.
Yeah, I've given up. Like, you know. Speaking. Okay, so yeah, and Tarzan. Freaking Phil Collins just goes insane at that soundtrack. It's amazing. Like
Son of Man, my favorite song.
Yeah, no, it's so freaking awesome.
yeah, Phil
Phil
Collins.
Collins might be a jerk, but he can write songs like no one can.
And I guess one of my favorite recent ones would probably be Tangled. I feel like Tangled is really funny.
I love Tangle. I love Mandy Moore. She's a really great actress.
She's a national treasure, yes.
How about opinions?
He's chewing right now.
It's a good movie. Not one of my favorites personally, but it's good. It carried its weight as a genuine Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any other favorites that come to your mind, Juan, or just something that we haven't talked about yet?
You know, you already said Tarzan and Mulan, which are also some of my favorites. The OG Disney Renaissance movie, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, the one that started it.
Yeah, such a good movie. Well, like it was a risk to take, and to alter the story so much to fit a kids format was one heck of a risk that Disney took back in '89. It worked out.
Yeah. Who would have thought the Brothers Grimm wrote such great material for Disney to transform into kid-friendly feature films?
And a media empire.
Yeah.
To be fair, Disney's been doing that since Snow White. Like all the fairy tales that they adapted are in their original source material are really grotesque and scary. And it's like Disney's like, let's see, these are good stories, but I want to market this to families. And that was his magic, and we're still seeing that today.
Yeah, you still see women actresses playing princesses in Disney parks on hot summer days wearing those giant gowns.
Yeah, oof. Yeah, that when I went to Disney World and I'm sweating my ass off and I see like Cinderella wearing a dress, I'm like, God damn, girl, do you like get paid?
I hope they're getting paid, man. Like a good amount, bro.
Yeah. All right, so I guess since we're on the topic of Disney, Disney Plus dropped something that has kind of taken the nation by storm, and it's kind of been the centerpiece of like, you know, what to watch on streaming nowadays, and that is Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton.
No, Chris, don't start singing because then you're going to trigger my brother. And when he starts singing Hamilton, he will go on for days.
So I saw Hamilton for the first time today, not knowing any of the songs or like, I just knew it was about Alexander Hamilton. That's it. And I gotta say, it's an amazing stage production, man. Like, and it was, you know, it holds up watching it on a TV, you know. I think it really does. And I think, you know, if anyone's a fan of this stuff like this, people should watch it. Now, Juan, I know you are a Hamilton aficionado. Okay, let me just ask you, like, when did you first start hearing of Hamilton? Because I remember waking up one day and this was the talk of New York and Broadway. It's like, oh, if you're on Broadway, you got to see Hamilton. When did you first hear of it?
So late 2016, like around November, December was when I started hearing about it.
Yes.
I remember because I was going through a bad breakup at the time, and like I needed something to distract me. And I was a huge Broadway lover, and I still kind of am. And when I started hearing from a lot of people, oh, Hamilton's amazing, Hamilton this, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not the kind of type of guy that does this, but if it's so great, I'll listen to the soundtrack and see how it is. And I just remember just listening to the start of it in New York City, walking around an Apple store when it starts. And I just fell in love with the story that it told. I had never heard, like, I know that operas had done it before, but like a rap opera about, American history, rewritten in a way that relates to modern times, especially in a Trump America. I thought it was just such a great piece of work that I just played the soundtrack over and over and over again until I memorized almost every single song. Except Guns and Ships. My Hamilton fans would know what that means.
Which one's Guns and Ships? Like, is that the one that closes out the first intermission? Like before that?
Songs before the close into the intermission.
That's when all the songs are hitting each other at once, right?
No, that's nonstop, and that's at the start. That's right before intermission.
Okay.
Guns and Ships is the one where like Lafayette is talking to George Washington about getting Hamilton back in the army.
Yes. It's crazy. That actor plays Lafayette with a French accent, and then he goes back to Thomas Jefferson and plays him as well. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
And to do so like at such a fast rate of rapping and like to be able to keep the beat while still maintaining the accent was just phenomenal.
Yeah, how did he make a play that's near 3 hours and it's mostly rap? Like, how the hell do you do that? Like, it's inconceivable how someone could even like start like writing that. Like, and how do you even pitch that to people? It's like, oh yeah, I want to do a play about Alexander Hamilton. You know that guy, the historical guy? Yeah, and I want it to be mostly rap.
Yeah, the V Diggs.
It's insane. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, like let me ask something. Like, you haven't been a first-time viewer to the whole thing. What were you expecting going in?
I had just opened mine. I was like, all right, I know this is about Alexander Hamilton. This is like Lin-Manuel Miranda's like big thing, and I know there's rap in it. Let's see what happens. That's literally how I went into it.
What were your thoughts about the Aaron Burr Hamilton parallels that you saw?
Yeah, these two have just been at it their whole lives, man. Like,
lifelong rivals.
Yeah, lifelong rivals, and like
they were friends at first. Like
they were friends at first, but there was still tension though. There was tension. There was always tension. Like, and like it's just kind of tragic how it turned that way. Like, both of them were not perfect to each other, and both did some things to each other, and yeah, by the end, Burr shoots him, and it's just sad that a friendship turned into a death like that. Yeah. And like, what's crazy? Like when I saw that like Hamilton cheated on his wife and stuff like that whole scandal, and like I didn't know that. I think I remember hearing about that in history, like in high school. So I looked it up. What was it called? That song, the Reynolds pamphlet. Yeah, I looked that up. I'm like, holy shit, that's real. I'm like, oh my god, he actually cheated on his wife for like 4 months while she was away. And like he had to just write it out there to say to people, hey, I did not embezzle money, but I did, however, do this. Like, which is like
he had to expose himself to save himself, basically.
Yeah, which is, it sucks.
Yeah.
But like,
you have to remember, Chris, that even historical figures are still human.
Of course. And that's what I really loved about this play. Like, I really loved how, like, as great as their accomplishments were, they were still human at the end of the day. Like, and it's really interesting how, like, Alexander Hamilton, he may not have been a president or like may have been like the leader of anything, but like he was so important to, the creation of the United States, and like being under George Washington and like helping him write and stuff like that. I thought it was really interesting. And it just, and the hip hop and all offers just a fresh new perspective that can be like, that can help people learn about it easier than like, reading it in a history book.
Yeah. Nothing better than pop culture if making history come alive.
Yeah.
What was your favorite? what do you think of the line, everything is legal in New Jersey?
They made it seem like New Jersey was like a Wild West. I'm like, we're one of the founding states. Like, what the hell, man?
Well, we're not very looked at very well.
We're civilized people. What the hell, man?
Dude, I have so many friends in New York who tell me how much they hate Jersey compared to New York. And I'm like, you know what? You do you.
Yeah, like, what the hell? But it was funny, though. I just like how New Jersey was referenced. That was nice. We got some representation, even though it wasn't the best representation.
What would you say was your favorite song from the whole musical?
Probably the Angelica song, Satisfied, where she's just rapping. She's rapping like a gunshots, and I'm like, and then she just belts out her vocals. I'm like, God damn, girl. God damn.
My hair, I get goosebumps every time I hear the melody riff at the end of Mine at Work.
Well, which one is that? I don't know the names of the song.
They introduced the Schuyler sisters.
Yes. Oh, that was really good. Yes. What about you, Pedro? What are some of your favorite aspects of Hamilton?
Is my favorite aspects of Hamilton?
Yeah.
I guess the humanizing part.
Yeah.
Like you said, for all the great accomplishments that our founding fathers had done, in the end, they still fell victim to their pride and to temptation.
Yeah.
And that makes them more relatable to us. And
now, guys, I will say this: like, people are complaining that they want Hamilton canceled and taken off of Disney Plus and off Broadway in general.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, because of Hamilton and Washington and other founding fathers owning slaves in the past, they think that Hamilton is glorifying slave owners.
No, not really. I mean, they do call it out a couple of times in the show as well. Like when Lauren says we cannot be free unless everyone is free, and I'm like, damn, that hits today. Like, and I know Lin-Manuel Miranda did not meant for us to be like hit modern politics, but it kind of does. Because our founding fathers dealt with a lot of the issues we deal with today.
Yeah, and besides, it's not like this place. It's just a show, like America's founding in a humanistic but relatable way, and people who are simple-minded are just seeing it as, oh, he's glorifying slavery. Like, he's not doing that. Have you even seen the play? Don't judge something before you see it, you jackals.
I think it's not that they're simple-minded, Pedro, per se. I think it's more along the lines of, it is true that a lot of the founding fathers were slave owners, and that they relied on the usage of slaves to maintain power within politics and maintain wealth within society. So I see that. But, there were a lot of those founding fathers that wanted to end slavery, thinking that it wasn't right. But a lot of southern, politicians who have plantations and stuff didn't think that it was feasible for them to maintain the lifestyles they were accustomed to, and wanted to keep slavery, which was what led into World War II. Civil War. But to say that you're glorifying slave owners, you're not. It's kind of like the Kobe argument. When Kobe died, everyone praised him for his love of the game, his revolution of the game, his being inspiring to try to help women's basketball become much more of a global sensation as men's basketball is. But people are like, well, but he raped this person, and then he went to court and he got away with it, and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, that is part of Kobe's story, and that will forever be part of Kobe's story. But but just because that happened doesn't take away from the impact that he had in both society, in basketball, and in his family's life. It's similar to the argument of the founding fathers. Yes, they were slave owners. A lot of them, I presume, were pretty racist, especially Jefferson. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they fought for a country that held ideals of democracy and freedom. Granted, it's that sentiment's not really being felt by the black community, but they're trying to like bring that sentiment to the forefront of today, and that's what the founding fathers fought for, was for equality and freedom from a tyrant power that wasn't letting them express themselves as a nation or as a people.
Well, in the tagline of Hamilton, it's American then, told by America now, and that just says everything you need to know about the play.
Exactly. Like,
it's it's clever how they had people of color play these prominent historical figures, and it makes everything more relatable. Lin-Manuel Miranda is Puerto Rican. Clearly, Alexander Hamilton was not Puerto Rican or George. But it makes us see, like, him being in that role gives the Latino community good representation, and it makes us kind of relate more to the founding fathers that maybe we couldn't relate to when we just see pictures of them in their wigs and stuff like that. And I thought it was kind of beautiful. Like,
are you gonna say something else?
Oh, I know. I thought you got awkward silence.
Oh man, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I think we need to pick our next movie to watch.
Yes. Okay. So I saw 2 movies last week. I did my homework.
And so did I. What'd you say?
Yeah. So okay, what movies can we watch? This is tough.
This is the part. Oh.
Well, actually, I have one to recommend to you guys.
Okay.
Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. It's on Netflix.
I've seen that.
It's supposedly the best animated Batman movie of all time.
But I haven't seen it in a while, and I wouldn't mind seeing it again just to talk with you guys about it.
Yeah, okay.
So we're doing another animated movie, but this time it's on the Warner Brothers side, Disney's arch rival, and that's Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. We're watching that. Cool.
This is my recommendation. Do you guys have any ideas?
I think that was a good one.
I think it's good.
I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, we're chilling here. We do whatever we want. We're sitting, we're kicking back, relaxing. Yeah.
We do whatever we want.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I guess besides Hamilton, what are some of your favorite Broadway shows that you would recommend?
Ooh, definitely Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have not seen that. No. That's by the South Park writers, right?
Yeah. When it came out, Paige and I saw it with the original casting.
Yeah, with Josh Gade and what's the name of the tall guy?
Aaron Reynolds, I think it is.
Yep.
Man. And like, man, I gotta see that Book of Mormon.
It's still out, and I saw it twice.
Well, to be fair, Broadway theaters are closed until like 2021. They're saying.
Yeah.
Which is like, it was so nice that Hamilton released, because like to ease the pain of not having theaters open. So it's like, oh, I can get the theater at home. It was nice.
And it's supposedly the greatest Broadway play right now. So to have accessible to anyone is just, this is nice.
Do you think more Broadway plays should be released to streaming like this?
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Because, Broadway theater in general is a big cultural aspect for any place on earth. And live theater in particular is important. If we don't share that if we don't share that the way we do now through streaming, like with Hamilton, then the culture may die.
I was very surprised to see that, Blinn sold the rights of Hamilton to Disney. Like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, there's some beeps. Like there's like one F word that slips out, but like they kind of just like, So there's only like one F word in there, but they say, but they're all the other languages in that intact. They say a lot, yeah. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like I expected that this would have got more to like Universal or Fox or something, but no, Disney swooped in and took the musical of the century.
Yeah, apparently Disney they wanted it badly. They're like, give us Hamilton. Now, speaking of that, okay, I'll just say some of my favorite Broadway plays before I just thought of this new topic, but yeah, I loved Wicked. Did you guys see Wicked?
Yeah, we saw.
It was yeah, it's probably like one of the best prequels to like a beloved thing you can have. Like it was great to see like how human the Wicked Witch of the West is. Like it was really cool. And like the stage design and production, it was just incredible. And like the voices, man, I want to see that again. Oh, and you guys know this, but I saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child,
What?
2 parts. Yeah, that Wicked and Cursed Child are probably my 2 favorite plays I've seen so far. I don't count Hamilton because I haven't seen it in person, so I'll be the judge of that when I see it in person. But like, yeah, Cursed Child, the production value for that, it felt like you were right there in the magical world of Harry Potter. It was insane, and I would love to see it again down the line. You got to see 2 parts in one day, though. You got to.
Speaking of Harry Potter, did you
Yes.
know that the actor Daniel Radcliffe was all on Broadway?
Yes, I know he was on Broadway. Yes,
How's
I
this-
remember like walking in New York, seeing like posters of him. Yeah,
Juan and I saw that play, and it was awesome. He's a fantastic dancer and singer, and he can do an American accent with no problem. It was incredible.
Yeah, the play was called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
yes, I remember that came out like when I was in high school. I want to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know who replaced him when he left?
Who?
Jonas.
Nick Jonas?
Yeah,
Oh, Nick or Joe?
Nick Jonas.
Okay, Nick. Okay. Interesting. Did you hear reviews of that? Was he good or?
It was pretty good, yeah.
Okay, nice. What else?
Actually, one of the songs was used for the NBC Super Bowl commercial.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any other Broadway plays that come to your mind that you would recommend?
Yes, Nathan Lane in the Addams Family musical.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was never an Addams Family fan. I just never really watched it, but like
It was the only thing I didn't like was the Wednesday Addams character. She was too moody and too, for lack of better words, bitchy.
is that the daughter with the big forehead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Nathan Lane, when he shows up, and he was playing the character he was meant to play, Gomez Addams, and it was just astounding. Like my favorite line ever: "My darling, you have feet."
I guess another thing last thing I'll mention is a Bronx Tale. I love the movie, and it was very interesting to see like a gangster movie turn into a musical, but it turned out really well in my opinion, and I thought it was really fascinating. And yeah, I'd recommend that as well whenever theaters come back.
You ever see there's In the Heights?
No, but I know there's a movie that was supposed to come out, but that got delayed into 2021. I'm sure you're probably looking forward to that, right?
I am. It's another Lin-Manuel Miranda production. He won a Tony for that.
Did you see it on stage or no?
I saw a Rutgers rendition of it that was pretty good.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So the last thing we'll talk about Broadway is Hamilton. It's the most popular play on Broadway. Should it be a movie?
No. Well, hold on. What do you mean by a movie?
Like a movie. Like you go to AMC, you buy a ticket to Hamilton, the movie adaptation.
But like the way it's presented right now, or as an actual feature film?
Like
As a feature film.
Oh, no.
Like, would you want to look like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of feature film design?
I could see it as a movie. I think it'd be awesome as a movie.
I don't think it would. because the music tells the story. And if you
That's the thing, yeah.
And if you replace the music with actual dialogue, you're essentially ruining what makes Hamilton Hamilton.
Actually, the argument could be made that the play Les Miserables, when it
Yeah,
was
they did it. They did exact. I know what you're saying. Go ahead, Pedro. Sorry.
when they adapted it, it was a hit. And
No, it wasn't. People hated it.
what? I heard
It was successful.
It was successful, but it wasn't critically acclaimed. It was actually panned.
Did Anne Hathaway won an Oscar for that though?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So there's some
There's
acclaim.
a lot of hate coming towards that movie.
No.
But what I'm saying is like when there's a musical that's all music and no dialogue, I guess it's possible with Les Mis, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
we kind of have to consider
Yeah.
another thing that makes Hamilton so great is the set that they work on. A wooden set that constantly rotates and has constant motion.
Yeah.
And nothing really changes on it. That's another thing that makes it beautiful. If you add like real world buildings and outside and stuff, it kind of destroys the illusion a little bit.
On top of that, the play relies heavily on the audience's imagination of the setting.
Okay. We'll see. I think it's gonna happen probably, most likely.
Only if they get the actual cast to be in it.
I know Lin Miranda has said he's wanted to do one, but he never really specified how.
No, I actually read an interview and he's like, I don't know how the hell this could be done, pretty much. Like yeah. But you know, In the Heights is coming out, so it's like, you know, hey, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I personally would like to see it. I think like a Revolutionary War musical with the Founding Fathers, that'd be pretty awesome with the right like people behind it and like the production value. It'd be probably very expensive though, but like it'd be a hit, I feel like.
As long as they don't saturate the film with needless war scenes, like fights and stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Here's my thing, and I'll say this and we'll move on. There's a fine line for Disney films. We talked about this last week.
Yes.
Between making great live in-person movies. All right, you can either end up. What's a great adaptation that Disney's done? Do we know?
Chronicles of Narnia and like Pirates.
All right, so you can either end up with a Pirates of the Caribbean on one side, which is good, successful, everyone loves, and it's entertaining, or you end up with Artemis Fowl.
That is no, he's right. He's absolutely right. Disney is there is no in between with Disney. There isn't just, you know, yeah. It's either you got those, it's one or the other, you know.
Yeah. Well, but there was also the hidden gem of reimagining like Treasure Planet, adapted from Treasure Island.
But that's animated though.
Still.
Yeah. So all of us are mixed on it, so we'll see what happens. All right, so what's the next thing? All right, so I guess, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, what I was doing these past couple of weeks, The Last of Us 2's kind of, you know, taken over my life. I finally beat it yesterday morning. And I guess I'll start off with my thoughts. The game has its flaws, but I still loved it, and I thought it was one hell of an experience. I feel like it was. You know, there's Naughty Dog makes some good ass stories in their video games, I will say. But Pedro, you said you had some friends that played it, so you go ahead with your thoughts. And full warning to listeners, I already went over my non-spoiler thoughts for The Last of Us 2 a couple of weeks back. Now we're going into full spoilers, and you guys are not going to play the game, I guess. So yeah.
No, there's one reason why I will never play that game. I've seen the gameplay, and I've talked to my friends about it. It sucks.
I don't agree with that.
God.
I don't agree with that.
What they did to Joel, they completely ruined his character, first of all. And then the whole revenge is to be like go theme. Even though Ellie kills like over like 100 people on her way to kill the woman who killed Joel, and then she lets her live. What What? Why? That doesn't
It's-
make any sense. On top of that, it's just needlessly tedious, the whole journey she takes. And everyone is just a big jerk.
Like I said, the story isn't perfect. The one. Okay, so I knew about Joel dying beforehand because there were leaks that came out, and I'm like,
Disgruntled Naughty Dog employee.
they proved it was someone. It had something to do with like a translator for the game that leaked it. It wasn't a disgruntled Naughty Dog employee.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so I knew Joel was gonna die even before the leaks because like the writing was on the wall for him in the advertising and the marketing. They barely showed him in the marketing, and that just shows you if he was in the game, if he was 100% of the game, they would have shown him the whole marketing. So that's just that's just me. It's but like them killing Joel in the first like 2 hours of the game, it was shocking, and I get why they did it, but like it's kind of like, do you want to shock and surprise your audiences? Like that's the question you got to ask yourself when you're a writer. It's like, you want to be unpredictable and you want to surprise, but it's like, at what point is surprise just too shocking,
I don't think it's the fact that he died that people have an issue with. I think it's how he died.
Yes.
Like the fact that like he died showing trust in a random like group of people instead of, because he was always known as a very paranoid
He's a survivalist.
and a very like a hardcore survivalist. And he put his faith in people and it killed him. Like that, it was so out of character.
Whew. Well, to be fair, she was getting chased by like zombies, and they were getting chased by zombies, and they saw a human. And it's like, oh, okay, let's help each other out to get out of the situation.
Yeah, and
that's how I saw it.
It was a revenge killing too, because Joel killed someone that she cared about.
Joel killed Abby's dad. Yes, Abby's the controversial character who I'll go into, but yeah, because at the end of the first game, you shoot up a hospital full of people who are gonna operate into Ellie because she's immune to the virus. And they're saying they're gonna operate into her, and she's probably gonna die from the operation, but there's a chance of a vaccine. But the thing is, he does not want to see Ellie die because his daughter died in the beginning of the first game, and Ellie is pretty much the daughter that his second chance. The second chance of being a dad again, and he was never gonna let them touch her at all. So yeah, and one of the people that he does kill is the dad of one of the main protagonists in the game, who's also can be seen as a protagonist. And I guess going to Abby, first you play as Ellie for like 15 hours of the game. I want 15 to like 18 hours. Then for the next 10 hours, you play as Abby. And this was like kind of shocking to me. So I thought, all right, you get to play as Abby for like 2 hours and the end of the game's coming. No, you see everything. And, I will say this, they did a good job of you sympathizing with her because she is just as human as Ellie. She's not just some monster who killed Joel. No, she took revenge for the fact that he killed her father, and you see her struggle and develop throughout the whole game, and she takes in she like bonds with her rival people from her rival faction, and one of them's a trans boy named Lev, and they bond, and you see that Abby is just in a lot of ways she's just as similar to Joel, which is kind of crazy because she's escorting this child to try to save his sister. And yeah, it was but it was just so intense, the whole game. It was just so invested. I just wanted to figure out what the hell happened. And yeah, I think everyone who was a fan of the first game should play it if they want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wish they would at least give you the option of whether or not to kill Abby. I wish they were just like one of those choices games, like alternate endings.
Yeah, but I feel like this wasn't that type of game. This is more about the first game's theme was about like loss, how we deal with it, and like what we do to keep something that we've gained that keeps us human. And this second game is about revenge and how it affects everybody around you and the damages it causes to you and just the whole vicious cycle that happens and what we need to do to stop it, you know? And I guess, you know, like you said, when you look at the story with Ellie just leaving Abby to leave, it was just, I saw it as her ending the cycle of violence, that, you know, this needs to stop because revenge is turning me into the monster that I always thought Abby was, and when it turns out Abby was just as human as I was. When Ellie sees Abby hanging and weakened and all that, when she was clearly been tortured.
Whoa, really? Didn't know that.
Yeah, she was tortured. Yeah, at the end. Yeah. The game is long, man. For a non-open world, non-RPG game, this is one of the longest story-driven games out there. Like just pure story. Like it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, this game literally took over my life, and I'm a little sad it's over, and I don't know if they're gonna make another one again. But I will love it.
An HBO series.
Yes, there is, and I am very excited for that. And you know who I want to play Joel? It's kind of a hot take, and it's kind of like, what? It's kind of unorthodox. I want freaking Gerard Butler to play Joel.
Gerard Butler?
Yes.
I can definitely see that.
Thank you, Juan. Gerard Butler, I feel like, has not been given a fair shake. I feel like he has an award-winning artistic performance in him, but the people who cast him in their movies are just not giving him that. He has the darkness and the the world weariness in his eyes, man.
I could see that, given his role from Law-Abiding Citizen.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could see it, man. I want Joel as I want Gerard Butler as Joel, man. For Ellie, I just want some talented young actress, whoever they cast. Like in the mid 2000s, it could have been Ellen Page, but Ellen Page is way too old now.
Actually, you know, she still has that youthful look.
But she's like 30, man. Like I don't want a 30-year-old playing a teenager. Come on.
Wasn't she like 30 when she played a 16-year-old Juno?
She's like in her mid 20s. That's still like okay, like it's mid 20s is understandable because they've been doing that for the last like 100 years in like movies, like casting mid 20-year-olds as teenagers. But like
she still sounds like a teenager.
But let's get someone like a couple years ago. The actress of Arya would have been perfect from Game of Thrones. She would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But she's too old now, I feel like. Yeah. So whatever. Whoever
she can subdue it.
Whoever they find, I hope they're talented.
Joey King.
Who is Joey King?
You ever saw that movie about the girl whose mom made her think she had cancer and had her wheelchair bound? It's on Hulu.
Let me look her up. Joey King. Let me see if she got the look. Joey King. Okay. I think I can see it. Yes. Okay. So this is our official fan cast. Gerard Butler is Joel. Joey King is Ellie. Let's do it.
All right.
HBO, I hope you're listening out there.
I've never seen this girl before in my life. Oh no, actually,
amazing.
So yeah. HBO, the people who created Chernobyl, who are behind this, hope you're listening. This is what we want.
Gerard Butler for Joel.
Yes.
Joey King for Ellie. Make that happen, America.
Yes.
Turn it to a hashtag and get promoting, son.
Yes. All right. Do you guys have anything else in your mind?
Nah, I'm pretty tapped.
What about you, Pedro?
I'm good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I feel like this is the end of our podcast. Juan, Pedro, thank you so much for joining me, man, to talk whatever we talk about, man.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Guys.
Always a pleasure.
My fans, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys whenever we put out the next podcast.
See y'all.